It's hard to accept, but it's necessary. Not everyone around us has good intentions. There are people who may seem close, but in reality, they could be slowly poisoning your life. Today, I want to talk to you about something that can make a huge difference in your well-being. The 7 signs that you're dealing with an evil person. I know it's tough to think that someone you trust, whether it's a friend, a colleague, or even a family member, could have a dark side. It hurts us to accept that reality because as human beings, we always want to see the best in others. But recognizing these signs is not just important, it's essential for protecting your mental and emotional peace. In this video, I will guide you step by step so you can identify these signs and, most importantly, learn how to protect yourself from their impact. If you've ever felt that someone in your life is manipulating you or making you feel less than, this video is for you. Don't skip any part because I want you to know something. At the end of the video, I will share a powerful strategy to set healthy boundaries with these people. So please don't miss it. If this content helps you or resonates with you in any way, I invite you to subscribe. It costs nothing, but it could make a big difference in your life. We're in this together, and I'm here to help you become more aware and stronger in the face of those who try to harm you. Let's begin this journey of self-discovery and strength. Let's get started. Now that we've introduced this delicate topic, let's begin with one of the most common and harmful signs that you may be dealing with an evil person: emotional manipulation. Think about this. You've been in an argument with someone close to you, maybe a friend, a colleague, or even a family member. Deep down, you know you're right, but suddenly, everything flips. You find yourself apologizing, feeling guilty for things you didn't even do. That person has managed to change the narrative in such a subtle way that now you're the one feeling bad. This is emotional manipulation in its most insidious form. Evil people are masters at making you feel responsible for their problems. One of the most common methods they use is the tactic of victimization. They will make you believe that they have suffered more than anyone, and that you, somehow, should carry that burden. Phrases like, "After everything I've been through, I can't believe you're not supporting me," or "I'm always the one who has to endure everything," put you in a position where you feel obligated to give in and fulfill their demands. But why do they do this? Simple. By making you feel guilty, they control you. They want you to constantly question whether you've done something wrong, whether you've been understanding enough. This cycle wears you down emotionally, and without even realizing it, you begin to make concessions and sacrifices to avoid conflict or keep the peace. But that peace is superficial, and your emotional well-being is compromised in the process. One of the most destructive tactics they employ is gaslighting. In this dynamic, they make you believe that your perception of reality is wrong. They'll say things like, "You're overreacting," "That never happened," or "You're too sensitive." Over time, you start doubting yourself, your memory, and your emotions. This isn't just a simple misunderstanding. It's a deliberate strategy to make you feel insecure and dependent. Additionally, these people often use emotional blackmail. For example, if you don't do what they want, they may punish you with indifference or make you feel selfish for thinking about yourself first. Once you give in to their demands, they reinforce the cycle of manipulation, placing you in a position where you're always second-guessing your decisions. Another tactic is emotional isolation. Little by little, they make you believe that no one else understands your problems or that only they can support you. This leads you to depend on them emotionally, while they gradually distance you from people who truly care for you and can help you. Recognizing these tactics is the first step to regaining emotional control. If you feel like someone is often making you doubt yourself, it's time to set clear boundaries. Don't be afraid to say no when necessary, and above all, seek support from people who truly value you for who you are, not for what they can get from you. Remember, emotional manipulation doesn't just make you feel bad in the moment. It can have a lasting impact on your self-esteem and mental health. Write in the comments if you've gone through this difficult situation, as I did for a long time. After having explored how an evil person can manipulate your emotions, let's move on to another very important sign: the lack of empathy. This is perhaps one of the most disconcerting traits, because in our closest relationships, we expect a basic level of compassion and understanding. However, when you're dealing with an evil person, you realize that emotional sensitivity is simply not there. Imagine telling someone close to you about a problem that deeply troubles you, expecting some kind of comfort or words of encouragement. Instead, all you get is a dismissive or indifferent comment, something like, "I don't understand why this bothers you so much," or "You should get over it." This cold reaction is a clear sign of a lack of empathy. A person with this characteristic not only ignores your emotions, but acts as if your problems are insignificant or irrelevant. What makes the lack of empathy in an evil person even more alarming is that, unlike someone who simply doesn't know how to console, these people deliberately choose not to care about your feelings. In fact, they might use your vulnerability as a tool to gain power over you. If they see that something affects you deeply, instead of offering support, they might exploit that weakness to manipulate the situation in their favor. One of the most obvious ways you'll notice the lack of empathy is in moments of personal crisis. Imagine you're going through a loss, whether it's the death of a loved one, a breakup, or a work-related difficulty. In those moments, a person with empathy would try to be present, show compassion, and offer help. However, the evil person will do the opposite. They may make hurtful comments like, "It's not a big deal," or even divert the conversation to themselves, making your pain seem insignificant compared to their own problems. Another clear example happens when they hold you responsible for their own emotions without considering yours. Suppose you've had a bad day, and when you share what's going on, instead of receiving an empathetic response, you're faced with an outburst of complaints or anger because you didn't give them enough attention. To them, your emotional state only matters insofar as they can take advantage of it or how it directly affects them. There's no genuine interest in your feelings or in how you're coping with difficulties. You can also see the lack of empathy in situations where basic norms of courtesy or respect are broken without the person showing any remorse. For example, if they make a cruel remark about you in public or humiliate you, and when you point out the harm caused, they simply respond with, "Don't take it so seriously," or "It's just a joke." To them, your emotions are an obstacle, something to be minimized or ignored. When you're dealing with a person who clearly lacks empathy, it's crucial that you don't blame yourself for the way they make you feel. You're not being overly sensitive or exaggerating. Recognizing that a person lacks the capacity or willingness to care about your emotions is painful, but it's also the first step to protecting yourself. Setting boundaries is once again the key here. If you find yourself in a relationship where your feelings are constantly ignored or belittled, it's essential that you take emotional distance. Don't let these people define your worth or make you feel like your emotions are a burden. Seek support from those who truly appreciate you and are capable of empathizing with your pain or joy. We've already seen how an evil person can try to control your emotions, making you feel guilty and dependent through emotional manipulation. But that's not the only way these people seek power. There's another level of manipulation, and it's just as devastating: social manipulation. Unlike emotional manipulation, which occurs in intimate and direct interactions, social manipulation happens in a broader setting, involving other people in your environment. Here, the evil person not only plays with your emotions, but also manipulates others to see a distorted version of you. This allows them to control the narrative in their favor and socially isolate you. Imagine you have a group of friends or co-workers. Everything seems normal, but you start to notice certain people distancing themselves from you, conversations changing tone when you approach, or hearing comments attributed to you that you never said. What's happening behind the scenes is that the evil person has started speaking poorly about you behind your back. These people are experts at distorting reality, painting themselves as victims while projecting you as the problem. They might say things like, "I don't want to say anything bad about her, but I'm concerned about her behavior lately," or "You don't realize what's really going on with him, but I know he's causing conflict between us." With these comments, they poison others' perceptions of you, creating an image of distrust and doubt toward you. They also use the divide and conquer strategy to create conflict among people who could otherwise support you. They feed rumors, create misunderstandings, and ensure that people around you start seeing negative qualities in you that didn't exist before. All of this is to weaken your relationships and socially isolate you. This is what makes social manipulation so dangerous. It not only affects your emotional well-being, but also erodes your relationships, leaving you vulnerable and isolated. One of the most common examples of social manipulation is malicious gossip. Imagine you confide something private or sensitive to someone. Later, you find out that this information has been distorted and shared with others. And worse, it's been presented in such a way that you're now the culprit of a situation that didn't even exist. The gossip isn't accidental. It's a deliberate tool used to undermine your reputation and create a barrier between you and others. Another frequent tactic is triangulation. The evil person will try to generate conflict between two people who might otherwise be on good terms, feeding misunderstandings to provoke fights or resentment. For example, they'll tell a friend of yours you can't trust him because they've heard that you've been saying bad things behind their back, when in reality it's all a fabricated lie. Their goal is to create tension and division, keeping you always on the defensive and fighting to clear up rumors. It's also common for them to use public victimization to gain sympathy in your social circle. If you confront this person about their actions, they'll make you appear as the aggressor. They'll say things like, "I don't know why you're treating me this way, I was only trying to help," or "I can't believe you're reacting like this, I just want what's best for everyone." These kinds of tactics get others to see them as innocent or even a victim, while you end up looking like the guilty one. One of the most alarming and destructive characteristics of an evil person is their extreme selfishness. While everyone at some point may prioritize their own interests, what sets these people apart is their constant inability to consider the needs or feelings of others. In their world, everything revolves around what they want, no matter the harm they may cause in the process. Their desires are the absolute priority, and they won't stop at anything to get what they want. The selfishness of an evil person goes far beyond a simple act of self-satisfaction. It's an attitude that permeates all their decisions and behaviors. Every relationship they form is based on what they can get out of it, and when you're no longer useful to them, they discard you without a second thought. For example, imagine you have a friend who always asks you for favors, but when you need something in return, they're suddenly too busy or unavailable. There's never any reciprocity, and when you dare to mention it, they make you feel like you're the one asking for too much. To them, relationships aren't about give and take. They are opportunities for exploitation, and they make sure to maximize what they can get out of you while giving as little as possible. Additionally, this extreme selfishness is evident in their lack of interest in your well-being. If you ever find yourself in a difficult situation, the evil person will rarely be there to offer support. Instead, they may use your vulnerability as an opportunity to take advantage of you, or worse, make you feel guilty for having needs. For instance, if you're going through a tough time in your personal life, instead of offering support, they'll criticize you for not being available to them or for not meeting their expectations. A classic example is when an evil person takes credit for your achievements or efforts. Suppose you work hard on a project, and when it's time to receive recognition, this person presents themselves as the mastermind behind it all, stealing the credit. For them, there are no limits to what they can appropriate as long as it benefits them. They don't care if they make you feel unappreciated or invisible. The only thing that matters to them is coming out on top. Another clear example is when they face a conflict of interest. Imagine you're in a relationship where both of you have goals or desires. While you make a conscious effort to find a balance, the evil person will always tip the scales in their favor. If they ever have to choose between something that benefits you or something that benefits them, they will always choose what's most convenient for them, regardless of how you feel about it. To them, sacrifice is a concept that only applies to others, never to themselves. One of the most insidious forms of extreme selfishness is when these people sabotage your opportunities or advancements because they feel threatened by your success. They might, for example, downplay your achievements in front of others, make derogatory comments about your aspirations, or even put you in situations where failure is almost inevitable, all to ensure that you remain less successful than they are. They can't stand to see someone else shine and will do whatever they can to keep you in the shadows. The consequences of extreme selfishness in relationships are devastating. Over time, this kind of behavior erodes trust and mutual respect. People forced to interact with someone who always puts their own interests first feel drained and used. Every time they give in to the demands of this person, they lose a little bit of themselves. Additionally, this constant imbalance creates a toxic dynamic where one person is always giving and the other is always receiving. The evil person rarely shows gratitude or recognition for what others do for them, and eventually those around them realize that they will never be able to meet their selfish demands. This can lead to resentment, which in the long run deteriorates any relationship, whether personal or professional. As we continue identifying the signs of an evil person, it is essential to consider superficial charm. This trait is often the most deceptive, as many times evil people use their charisma and initial appeal to hide their true intentions. Superficial charm is when a person appears to be extremely charming and attractive at first, showing an appearance of kindness, friendliness, and charisma that may seem genuine. However, this charming facade is often a mask to conceal their true nature, which only becomes apparent over time. The evil person uses this charm to lure and manipulate those around them, gaining their trust and creating a positive image of themselves. Imagine you meet someone in a social or professional setting, and from the beginning, this person seems exceptionally kind and attentive. They make you feel special, constantly compliment you, and are always ready to help. At first, this may seem like a sign of genuine friendship, but if you begin to notice that this person changes their behavior once they've earned your trust, it's a sign that the initial charm may have been a tactic to get closer to you. People with superficial charm often make grand promises that they will always be there for you, that they will support you, and that you can count on them. However, when it's time to fulfill those promises, they disappear or fail to deliver. The initial charm is just a tool to win your loyalty, only to crumble once they no longer find it useful. Another sign of superficial charm is an exaggerated reaction to any criticism or confrontation. At first, they may seem understanding and open to feedback, but if you dare to question or criticize anything about them, they may show a disproportionate or defensive reaction. This behavior reveals that their charm is just a superficial layer, hiding a lack of tolerance for criticism and possible aggression. An evil person may use excessive flattery to gain your trust. They may excessively praise your achievements, appearance, and character to create an emotional bond with you. This strategy often serves to emotionally manipulate you and make it easier for you to accept their demands or become more dependent on them. Superficial charm is one of the most powerful tools in an evil person's arsenal. Their ability to appear charming and appealing at first can lead you to let your guard down and trust someone who, in reality, has hidden intentions. Being aware of the signs and not being fooled by the initial facade can help protect you from being manipulated or harmed by people who use superficial charm for their own purposes. If the previous traits seemed incredible to you, the next one will sound very familiar: constant lies. This characteristic is a fundamental tool for manipulation and confusion, and it can be devastating when used systematically. Constant lies are a tactic used by evil people to manipulate reality and control how others perceive situations. These individuals don't just lie to hide the truth, they do so repeatedly and systematically, creating a web of deceit that can be difficult to unravel. The purpose of these lies is to disorient others, maintain control, and prevent their true intentions from being discovered. Imagine dealing with someone who constantly changes their version of events. Every time you discuss a past event or situation, this person presents a new version of the story that never matches what you had heard before. This pattern of lying can be confusing and lead you to question your own perception of reality, allowing the evil person to manipulate the truth in their favor. Evil people often lie to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. For example, if they've made a mistake or caused a problem, instead of admitting it, they deny having done anything wrong and find excuses to blame others. This systematic denial can make you feel guilty or confused, shifting attention away from the real source of the problem. Another way constant lies manifest is through promises and commitments that are never fulfilled. An evil person may repeatedly promise to do something only to break those promises without explanation. This pattern of lying about their intentions or actions can erode your trust and leave you feeling as though you're being constantly deceived. Constant lies are also used to create confusion and disorientation. For example, they might tell you contradictory things or make statements that don't make sense, leading you to question your own perception of reality. This confusion is a tool to maintain control and divert attention from their own faults or deceit. Constant lies are a clear sign that someone is using deception as a tool for manipulation. Recognizing these behavior patterns and taking steps to protect yourself can help you avoid falling victim to their deceit and maintain a clear perception of reality. Clarity and honesty are fundamental in any healthy relationship, and being alert to constant lies will allow you to make more informed decisions and protect your emotional well-being. Having explored these incredible signs that can erode your well-being, let's address another critical sign that you may be dealing with an evil person: unpredictable behavior. This characteristic can be especially unsettling and disturbing, as it introduces a constant level of uncertainty into your life. Unpredictable behavior manifests when a person acts erratically and inconsistently without following any clear pattern. This unpredictability can appear in their emotions, reactions, and decisions. An evil person uses this strategy to keep you in a constant state of alertness and anxiety, making you feel as though you never know what to expect from them. A person with unpredictable behavior might have exaggerated reactions to everyday situations. For example, they could erupt in anger or blow a minor issue out of proportion. These extreme reactions may leave you feeling confused or unsure about how to handle the situation. Imagine having a cordial conversation with someone, and suddenly, without any apparent reason, their attitude toward you completely changes. They may become cold and distant or extremely friendly, only to revert to indifference again. These abrupt shifts can disorient you and make you question what caused the change in their behavior. People with unpredictable behavior often make and break promises erratically. They might commit to doing something today and then disappear or change their mind without warning, leaving you in a state of uncertainty and distrust. Another tactic used by evil people is to employ confusion as a form of manipulation. This can include sending mixed signals or creating confusing situations so you can't get a clear sense of what's really happening. This erratic behavior serves to keep you under their control and make you more dependent on them for emotional stability. Unpredictable behavior is a powerful sign that someone may be using chaos and instability to control and manipulate you. Recognizing these patterns and taking steps to protect yourself can help you maintain your emotional stability and avoid being dragged into the disorder created by an evil person. Congratulations on making it this far. Now that we've explored the signs of an evil person and how to identify them, let's focus on one of the most powerful tools you can use to protect yourself: setting firm boundaries. Setting boundaries is essential because it protects you from manipulation and emotional abuse. When you implement clear and defined boundaries, you demonstrate that you value your own well-being and are not willing to tolerate behaviors that negatively affect you. Boundaries act as a barrier that prevents others from crossing your personal limits and helps you maintain your peace of mind. Before setting boundaries, it's crucial to know exactly what behaviors you are willing to accept and which ones you aren't. Make a list of what you consider unacceptable, such as emotional manipulation or lack of responsibility. This clarity will allow you to communicate your boundaries more effectively. When discussing your boundaries with the person, be clear and direct. Use firm but respectful language. For example, "I am not willing to tolerate being spoken to that way. If you continue, I will need to take some time for myself." Avoid ambiguity to ensure your message is understandable and difficult to misinterpret. Once you've established your boundaries, it's essential to remain consistent. If you allow your boundaries to be violated without consequences, the evil person's behavior may worsen. Consistency shows that you take your own limits seriously and reinforces respect for them. Maintaining your boundaries can be challenging, especially if the evil person tries to emotionally manipulate you. Be firm in your decisions and don't feel guilty for protecting yourself. Remember, your boundaries are there to safeguard your well-being, and there's nothing wrong with prioritizing your mental health. Understanding and accepting that you have the right to set boundaries is key to your peace of mind. Recognize your own worth and the importance of taking care of yourself. Don't let guilt make you second-guess your decisions. Talk to friends, family, or a therapist about your boundaries and how you feel about them. Seeking support can help you feel more confident in your decisions and reduce any guilt you may feel. Engage in activities that relax you and make you feel good. Self-care can help you maintain your peace of mind and better handle the pressure that may arise when setting boundaries. Give yourself permission to reflect on how you're handling the situation and adjust your boundaries if necessary. Healthy flexibility in how you set your limits can help you adapt to new situations and maintain your emotional balance. Setting firm boundaries is a powerful tool for protecting your peace of mind and avoiding manipulation from evil people. With clarity, firmness, and support, you can maintain healthy boundaries and ensure your emotional well-being is not compromised. Remember, setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, but a way to take care of yourself and maintain healthy, respectful relationships. Subscribe and share this video to reach even more people. See you in the next video.